Clear out the bars. The Democrats go to the bars.
Okay, we're on. We're on. No one heard that comment. Nope.
I did.
All right, I'll officially call this meeting of the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to order for Tuesday, September 30th. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ready to lead us in prayer?
Lord, once again, we ask for your guidance, we ask for your direction, we ask for your wisdom. In your name we pray. Amen.
Roll call.
Commissioner Stacy?
Here.
Commissioner Zoller?
Here.
Commissioner White?
Here.
Well, the signing of the journal and accept a motion for the DVD recording of the previous board sessions on Thursday, September 25th in the index.
I'll make a motion to approve it as outlined.
Second?
Moved in second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Any adjustments for the agenda? Anybody wants to add anything? Old business,
I just have
new, whatever?
one scheduling thing and one idea, wherever
Okay.
you want to put them on.
All right.
Just like an update on the RTA building, because have you talked with Lenny yet, or?
I haven't had an update.
Who's spearheading that job? Is it Howie Majors or whoever it is, that may be the person you need to talk with versus Lenny?
Instead of Lenny?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you can't get Lenny, just call out there and find out who's ramrodding that job, and then I think I would like to get an
Okay.
update on where they really stand at.
All right.
Okay. Anything else? David, thank you. Stacy, you have anything? Well, I guess that takes care of old business then, because we don't have an update on the RTA building. So, we'll see what she finds out on that. I know that it's either over there working, but I don't know what the progress is.
I mean, for $40,000, we're not gonna get an awful lot done.
Right.
That was the, not to exceed that, but it
Yeah.
was,
Yeah, and it's been, has it been a month yet? Not yet.
No, he's
Are they
only
working
got a
every
couple
day?
A few
weeks.
weeks.
are they there every day over there?
I'm not sure of that. There's been times there I've seen him, but I can't tell you that
I've seen him every day.
if I know if I saw him there every day or not. Yeah.
I thought he said something about it this morning. I'm not sure. He said something about talking to Lenny, but I don't know if it was for that building or something else.
And there was a problem with the compressor, but that was that building. Something happened with the compressor in there yesterday. So maintenance was looking at that anyway.
I thought that was a boiler or something, that they were starting to work on a boiler.
CSB,
The new boilers, yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, nothing else for old business? All right, we'll start with the new business. Let's hit what you got printed.
Okay. I have resolution, a supplement to the permit appropriation for the general fund for 2014. This is at the request of Common Pleas, putting $15,000 into their court reporter transcripts line. I have a supplement to the permit appropriations for the general fund for 2014. This is to put $350,000 into our transfers outline. This is what we discussed at the last session for the contribution for the Justice Center project. And to go along with that, I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer to be made to the Capital Projects Fund 215, putting the $350,000 from the general fund to the Capital Projects Fund. I have a supplement to the permitted appropriations general fund for 2014. This is for the note retirement, $33,094.46. This is going to pay off the the initial note that we had off, and then we'll just have the new one that we did for the energy.
900,000.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have two notes right now.
Yes,
We have
this will
the
pay
900,000,
that.
and then we have, I think it's about 4.5 million, something like that,
That's for the bonds.
for the bond.
Yeah,
Okay.
the note is just, that one pays off the other one.
Okay.
I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer to be made to the note retirement fund 312, putting that $33,094.46 from the transfers out to their transfers in. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the capital facilities note retirement fund 312, putting $3,914.46 into the note interest line. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriation to the general fund, putting $17,102.76 into contract services, and this is to close out the parcel obstruction removal project. We had to, when we had to stop the project last year because of the landowners around thought there would be some contamination or some.
It's at the
they had
airport, at the airport.
Yeah, and they had the engineers, Army Corps of Engineers out there to check that. So for this, it has the delays and some of the what we had to do to address those issues. And this is the final.
This is not new money.
Right.
We closed out one appropriation for last, and we're opening a new one.
Yes,
So it's not
yep,
really
yep.
new money.
Right. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Juvenile Dispute Resolution Fund 108, putting $3,670.92 into salaries, $53.22 into Medicare, $513.96 into PRS, for a total of $4,238.10. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Public Assistance Fund 030, putting $16,900 into their public assistance line. I have an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $5,000 from PERS to salaries and $10,000 from PERS to supplies. This is all within the maintenance fund. I think there was a glitch in my spreadsheet for PERS and the budget sheet. It had additional money in there. We're moving it to salaries to cover the TANF program until we get that money back. So that's what that one's for. We have an appropriation adjustment within the VOCA Expansion Project Fund 112, moving $55.70 from workers' comp to Medicare, $282.69 from workers' comp to PRS, $243.30 from equipment to PRS, $256.70 from equipment to salaries, $600 from contract services to salaries, $450 from other expense to salaries, $180 from other expense to salaries, and $113.99 from contract services to salaries, for total move $2,182.38. Again, this is victims assistance cleanup because their year ends mid-year. I have an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $2,000 from supplies to travel. This is from Common Pleas Court. They just brought this over this morning, and since it's at the end of the month, they asked if we could get that on for them today. I think a couple of these were. Go along with their insurance discussions. Wasn't last session, the session before. I have a resolution establishing the Seneca County's health insurance COBRA rates for calendar year 2015. The base plan is $463.41, buy a plan $557.91, family $1,205.97, and the buy up $1,455.12. And this is for the COBRA rates if somebody leaves employment and needs insurance coverage. I have a resolution establishing Seneca County's health insurance plan design for calendar year 2015. This includes the design discussed when Corporate One was in here. We also have the contributions for the HSA into this resolution for the $250 for the single plans and $500 for family plans. That's what we've done for the last few years, and at the last session, you guys agreed to do that again, so that's included in that resolution. And then I have a resolution establishing Seneca County's premium contribution and health insurance rates for calendar year 2015. Separate rates are for the base plan, single $42, wellness 25% discount, $31.50, buy a plan $85, wellness 25% discount is $74.50. And the family plan base is $109, wellness discount is $82, buy a plan for family is $222, with the 25% wellness discount is $195. And these will set the rates. We're having our the open enrollment meetings on the October 20th and the 22nd. And
Are those mandatory?
yeah, they need everybody to go because they're talking about the new,
Wellness?
that too. They'll be talking about the wellness, and that gentleman from SES talking about the voluntary life, the AFLAC,
Okay.
and going to the new plan. So they'll be scheduling individuals for those too. So that's all the resolutions they have.
I move we approve.
Seconded.
Motion and a second to approve the resolutions as read. Comments, questions?
Just like we said last week, I'm just really pleased that we could only have a 1% increase on our health insurance rates. That's
Yeah. I think
nice for the employer and the employee.
Yeah. That's great. I'm interested to hear what the continuation of the wellness is now following Seneca's, plan they're instituting.
Yeah.
Since we've had ours going and that kind of stuff, so I think that's all has to be part of the reason that we're not seeing a huge increase. I don't know what industry average is, but we've got to be way under it. That's a good thing.
And Bob's
We just had an 8% increase, and we got lucky. It was actually started out 14.
At Ramjack?
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
anywhere from 10% is kind of the normal. 10% in 1 year, we had a 40% increase. So. It's killer, it's killer.
No other comments or concerns? Roll call.
Commissioner Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Zoll,
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy.
Yes.
All approved.
We're pretty darn close to being right on target. Mr. Reed, it's not quite 10:15, but you're game to go. We'll put you on.
Thank you, I appreciate you taking the time this morning. Just wanted to give you a little bit of review, where we are, what we've done. Last time I was here, we had an issue at JFS that we wanted to settle. We purchased some components, we put them in. Those components basically allow the valves to operate more efficiently. And there was a problem with some of the valves not operating automatically. Now they do. And we installed a number of relays and some controls that were not originally a part of it. We still admitted it's fine. Those are done. In doing that, we spoke to your maintenance people, and they showed us something they found, which we did not know was there, which were some operators that were hidden by the filter installation. The filters were actually covered this little operator. So I had to go ahead and get a hold of contractors to come back and run some wire. We have put in a large enough controller to functionally control that, but the wire from that controller to that particular device was not in because we didn't know that device was there. Now we know it's there. We'll put some wire in. I think by the end of the week we should probably have that done. And for all practical purposes, the system is complete.
Is JFS satisfied with the
Yeah,
operation?
I stopped to see Mr. Anderson. He was not in. I did speak to a couple of people there and said if there's any issues, give my card. Please call me. And Mr. Anderson hasn't called, so I will make one more call to him. I will be out there again with the installation of the last piece of wire to make sure everything's good to go and stop anything. But there is everything is operating as it should right now.
Good.
The jail has worked fine, and I've had no problems, no complaints, which is always a good sign.
Yeah,
We still
yeah.
call them, we check to make sure they're operating. We will be back probably the middle of October. We'll be going into a heat-cool thing. We will make sure it's a pretty smooth transition. Right now you're having cooler mornings and warmer afternoons, although today's going to be kind of cool. We need more weather like this on a consistent basis to make sure the boilers and the furnaces and all things are working the way it should be. So we'll be back and walk through that. We did do training with the maintenance people and with the Ron Trout from the jail, understanding that Ron's going to retire in October, so we'll have to bring somebody else back on board, which is fine. We're glad to do that. One of the things that we did tell everybody, we will be back at 3 months, 6 months, and 11 months of your warranty year. We are going to begin the warranty year on January 1st, because we know we have to have a new person installed at the jail, so let's get that person on board. We'll train that person.
Of 215?
Correct. So
Okay.
we'll be, thank you, from 2/15, January 1st to January 1st, 2/16, that'll be your warranty year. We'll be back in the 3rd month, the 6th month, and the 11th month. The intent of that is to do 3 things. One is to make sure the system's doing what it's supposed to, obviously. 2 is that there's questions that we haven't, that your people need that we haven't addressed, we'll sit down and go through that with them.
Okay.
At the 11th month, we want to make sure that we've cleared everything, that, and if you decide that you would rather use somebody else going forward other than Palmer, which we would not like you to do, but we would understand if you wanted to do that, that we'll prepare you to allow you to go do that and say, okay, here's your language that you need to have. Here is, so that you are not locked up into a proprietary software going forward. And that can happen based on the equipment they install and or other little systems they install. We'll give you the proper language to ensure that does not happen. Obviously, if you decide to buy any HVAC equipment going forward, we very much want to like you make us aware so we can make sure they don't put any controls in on their equipment which would prevent you from being able to service what you need to service, to be able to interrogate that equipment. That you're there now. We've got you to that place in the equipment that you have.
We have nothing proprietary.
There's no proprietary controls at all. Now, we don't, so you understand, we don't control, we do never take control of a chiller or a boiler. That belongs to those companies. If we did do that, we'd violate 3 things. One, any warranties you might have, any safety issues you might have. And we don't want to be in the paper having these kind of issues about, things not working right and it's our fault, when it really belongs at the manufacturer's position. So they have their own controls, and they need to have those, but there's no interface between them and your system. You're able to interface with that the way you need to, so you don't have to go through and these are not bad companies. Honeywell or Siemens or Thomas & Cook, they're good firms, but their software kind of makes you locked up. You're not in that position. You are not forced to do that. You can go to anyone and operate in that regard. So that's the key element to that. And when you do that, usually you get long-term contracts, and we just took you out of that. We'd like to be your service contractor.
Earl, I guess I got a good question.
Yeah.
I assume that just from an overseeing standpoint, there's a fee associated with that. Roughly, what are we talking about? Right now, you're under contract.
This year, there'll be no cost
Yeah.
until 2016. What we will do during 2015 is we're going to more closely monitor you on what you have out there, and we'll bring you a range of opportunities and how much it costs. It's not going to be anywhere near what you were paying. You were paying 30 to 50,000. You'll be nowhere near that. I'm going to say that standing here. I would think you're going to look at something like $10,000 or $12,000 minimum.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to.
I need to tell you that as we go through, and then as you add things, or we change things, or modify things, there'll be additional cost. But we're going to give it to you based on the CCAO's recommendation. We are a CCAO, so for that purpose, we're trying to make sure that we give the counties the services they need at a reasonable rate in that process. Do we want to make money? Absolutely, but at the end of the day, we're not going to be here to take that kind of large dollar away. And we're here. We're going to be here. You're going to see me, even though we're not, I'm going to be here for the next year, just making sure things go right. One last thing, the only thing we haven't done on what we talked we were going to do was the lighting project. Now, I wanted to sit down with you to say, I think it's the right thing to do, and I'll tell you why. I had them run the numbers again just yesterday with AEP, and based on AEP's current program, and the numbers I'm going to do not include the jail or the engineer's office, and the reason is we don't have a good, accurate presentation of all the lamping and that are in those buildings. But take those buildings out. In other words, we will add dollars for that later on. you could rebate about $37,000 for the lighting changes in the county. Right now, we're looking at something in the neighborhood of about $130,000 to do that change.
About 4-year payback then.
Yeah, that'd be about a 4-year payback, and we think that number is 140. And we did estimate the jail and engineering numbers in there, but I think the number will be, you're gonna get greater rebate than that. The rebate I gave you is a conservative number. The number's gonna go higher than that, so I'm comfortable that'll suffice that. Now, the other side of that is that you also see a reduction in your energy bill, which is the other part of the equation that I wanted to make sure we did not miss, is that just because you put new lights in, you get a rebate, you also reduce the energy consumption in your buildings. And I was adding up while I was sitting there, so I didn't get a chance to look at it. It's gonna be somewhere around $20,000 annually in your electrical cost. You'll reduce energy costs, so that would be, that's an ongoing.
So what you're saying is roughly, the rebate will be roughly about 40,000 from the AEP. The energy cost, that's a one-time issue. The energy cost is about 20,000 a year, and the cost to implement it, and that is estimated for the jail and the engineer, that's 140,000.
About 140,000. So you look at 140,000 installed, you're gonna get about 38,000 back, and you'll reduce the energy cost to operate those buildings by about $20,000 over the course of the year. So it's at first year, if you want, you give about 60,000 back, and after that, every year 20,000, it becomes pretty straightforward. It's a good investment for you. Legitimately, lighting is the first thing people come in and do because that's where all the big dollars. I've chosen to do it last because I wanted to make sure first that we did the right things with your control, which I think was the bigger issue here. And I think the other side of it is the rebates were changing. I wasn't comfortable where we were at. In fact, the rebates almost doubled since we first started talking. It was 17,000, now we're up around 38, so I feel comfortable, you're at a good place, and that we can get you a fairly good number. And that you can get into that process. And that rebate comes directly to you. We take none of that. That the CCAO, we've made commitment to them, all of our clients. When rebates come in, some firms take up to 30% of that money. We don't take a dime. That money comes directly, the check is made out to you, comes directly to you. You can use it for whatever you choose. General fund, or you can use it for every energy project. I'd be interested in talking to you about that. But at the end of the day, the money comes back, and I think that's the right thing.
What's your incentive? I have to ask.
We're incentivized 3 ways. First off, we have a contract with CCAO. They pay us to come out here and do this. We are also incentivized by the utilities. They pay us a certain cents per kilowatt hour on savings that you generate and that you get from your installation. So you save money. I also get paid for that same money. I think I want to say it's 1/4% per kilowatt hour. That's what we get. But a lot of kilowatt hours out there, and then we obviously look at repeat business and ways that we can improve the operation of the process. And we make we're not broke. I'm not going to tell you that, but make more money. Yes, I've been asked to make more money. We're going to do that, but at the end of the day, we'll be fine.
Talking just bulbs or the ballast too?
Both tubes and ballast. One of the things I asked them to look at is all outside lights. Can we do LEDs? More expensive, a lot less cost, and there's more lighting going on with LEDs now than before. So we're going to take a real hard look at that on all your parking lot areas. And you don't have a lot of the jail area you have. Downtown we have very little bit in that regard, but it's a very profitable way to do some things. It costs more money. There's no question about it. They are more expensive lighting, but they do have a very low energy dollar. When you talk about low, I'm talking if you were paying $1 before, you're paying maybe 17, 18 cents now.
There is considerable savings. I know that we just did that at Calvert County Schools.
Yes.
Where they went through and changed all the lighting system, and there was, again, a couple-year payback. I know that we've done that. A lot of factories have went through, they come in and they put new fixtures in and much more energy effect.
So it's, you're at the right time. It's a good time to do these things, and so I want to keep you in that window so you get that maximum dollar return. So that's what I have this morning, except for one thing. Remember your roofs. don't forget, you've got to stay on top of that. We did the one small section of CSB when we did the HVAC work up there. But you got a 3-year window, a 3-year operation, and I've set it up with the roofing firm. You may be able to do, if you can this year, you can still probably get the first section done. And then when you're done with that, you'll have a 20-year warranty on the whole roof. And then we have to do jail. Jail needs to be done. But I think we can sustain that with some maintenance over the next, to get you past the first 3 years and then going to jail with the same kind of a plan.
Stacy, I would suggest when it comes to budget time, that we look at trying to budget in for the lighting thing, to see if it's feasible. And we look at, I mean, I understand clearly what you're saying about the CSB and the 3-year, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Those are a couple issues that, when you got the budget, it's huge. But make sure to keep those things, maybe want to make a little note for yourself that we try to, maybe we can't, but when we get down to it, I think we really need to look at it. Another thing that we're looking at, Earl, and I keep hearing all these energy savings. So someday it's gonna get to the point the electric company's gonna pay us to use because we've got all these savings here. We're trying to get our hands around kilowatts used. It's tough to get a hand around the bill because the bills keep going up. So we're trying to analyze previous years, how much kilowatt we use versus now with this new energy system.
You want to know what your changes are, changes in each of the buildings, this building included. We put in metering, which will allow us to read what your building is and what's going on. And every year you'll be able to real time. You can look at it today, is what's going to be a week from now, or a month. Right now, you're 45 days late on your billing cycle between what you did before. So you'll be able to see that. We are working with the CCAO, and I haven't really brought this out, but I'll just tell you something that's a service, and we've talked to you about it, where you have what they call a dashboard, which will give you a reference point of where you were and where you are now and how well you're doing, if you system it, and how well you're doing against buildings that are similar in type to the one you're with. And, in this case, it'd be an office building, and a jail would be a kind of other jails or other kinds of buildings like that. And how you measure how well you're doing. So we do have a product and that we can install and will be seen on your screen. And it just takes an ability, we can look not only at kilowatts, but natural gas and water consumption. So you can see how well you're doing and determine and do some better forecasting on what your utility consumption is going to be and what your utility usage would be. That product is out there and we can do that. Again, we haven't pushed that at you because we wanted to get you under control, so get yourself going in the right direction, but I think that's something we would come back and talk to you about for sure.
Well, my concern is we've made a $900,000 commitment, investment. Now we're gonna make sure there's some claims that were made as to the savings we're gonna have.
Absolutely.
Now we need to do is, okay, we know what history, we know what that is, and realizing every year you got warmer summers, colder winter, blah, 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 whatever. But you look at it over a period of years, we should be able to determine, okay, I think the claim was roughly about a 25% energy
Well,
savings.
I
is
think
what-
we said, we talked about a number of things, but I said definitely it'd be somewhere around $130,000, $140,000 we can reduce it on. I think your annual energy bill is somewhere around.
$600,000-700,000, I thought.
Yeah, I will go back and pull, I'm standing here without that, and I'm drawing a blank, but I'm not, yes, the answer to your question is yes, you'll save energy money. Yes, we gave you some numbers, and I'll prove that and bring it back. I can't, as I stand here right now, I don't have it in my head.
If you can help, I know Tanya's working on that, and it's something that, you've got to
Yeah,
take
and I'm glad to
some
do that.
history to, that's all, because that's gonna determine if it was really the right decision or not. I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying, but history is gonna prove it, that was right decision or not.
He wants to be able to measure that. So-
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's exactly what, if you don't measure it, it doesn't exist in your mind. You have to have some way to do that. It's gotta be measurable, you gotta be observable and repeatable. Can you do these things and have them be what they're supposed to be? And we very much want that to be the case. We want you to see that. We want you to understand what you've done and how you're getting your return out of it. And the other thing is, the thing I think is, if you have that data in front of you, you have that vision in front of you, you can see that, you can respond now to a change. And say, hey, what's happening here? Why is this building different than it was before? And we can help you with that, or your maintenance people can help you with that, or you can just look at it and say, hey, did the Edison or AEP in this case, did they do something different? So those are all good, solid needs by the county. You're exactly right. You need to validate your decisions.
You hope to be your best salespeople.
I want you to be my best salesperson. Gosh knows, I've been down here. I want you happy. At the end of the day, I also don't have a problem with questions. Difficult questions are what we do best, and I think at the end of the day, you have a tremendously good situation here. You know, you reduced your capital outlay, or your forecast outlay every year by $30,000 to $50,000 as far as contracts are concerned. You have energy savings that you can generate off lighting, and you have better control of your systems, which will also reduce your energy costs as you go through. And you have roofing issues, and we've shown you ways to extend that out so you can minimize that capital forecast. And those are the things that we do and bring to the party to make a better place.
Where do we stand at on doing the central system, and that's what kind of was interactive?
The network.
The network, is that what you call it? So that we can monitor it at this office here, that's what?
I'm not gonna defer totally, I'm gonna put Stacy in the spot, but legitimately, this is an absolute need. We do have engineering portals into every one of your buildings, and are able to look at them. We don't have that universal ability to look at your entire county at one time, nor is there a way for us to do as many things as we'd like to do. You definitely need some kind of a connectivity between all the buildings, and that typically in today's world means you put a fiber optic system in. You don't have to do that, but that would be the best thing because it's the least cost and gives you the greatest long-term flexibility. What you were presented with when I had Time Warner was not what I anticipated they would present you. They gave you the high-end, worst-case scenario. Your cost should be somewhere down around $25,000 to $30,000 a year. They gave you a $60,000 number because they were going to give you the Cadillac. I said they don't need a Cadillac. A Ford will do very well in this case, as hard as we have to do. Then I know that there are some issues on their telephone connection services which have caused some issues. So until they get that straightened out, I don't know where you can go. The other firm, I don't believe, has the capacity to give you what you're looking for. Now, that's just my opinion. They may be able to prove that forth, but you really are limited as to who you can go with. And the other option is AT&T, and great firm, lots of money. It's just a reality that I know.
We're just kind of in limbo until we can get this phone.
Yeah, as far as you being able to have
Resolved.
an overall view, that is absolutely correct. We are willing to and provide you as much information as we can, and glad to do that. It is not as convenient for you. It is not convenient for us. It's a substantial amount of work. We'll do what we have to do. But I think at the end of the day, that network is absolutely, you need, not just for me, I'm just riding on your network. You need it for other operational, administrative opportunities, the courts and everything else. A lot of other, it comes with it comes a lot of other opportunities for you, which will save you much more money than I'm going to save you, and that's what I'm doing.
Bascom's talked about bringing fiber downtown, so they're working on quotes for us, and then we're gonna get an updated quote from Time Warner, because like you said, they gave us the Cadillac, and it was sticker shock. So they're supposed to give us a more realistic quote on that.
Isn't that what the COG is, got a grant to look at bringing fiber optics to?
The presentation they gave was
Line of
an
sight.
error.
Yeah, it's a line of sight thing.
Line of sight.
Not a good idea. Correct that statement. Line of sight is a great thing if you have line of sight, but if you don't have it, you have a lot more failure opportunity. You need to have that, and that generally comes from large poles shooting through across it. Any kind of trees, and I've noticed you have trees here, that you can have that issue. So it is a legitimate process. It just needs to be something that works physically. And you're going to have two different areas, obviously, the area out on 224 and 100, and you're going to have this area here. And how do you make those work together well? That becomes the real issue. But I've spoken to Time Warner. They're supposed to be revisiting. I said, do it quickly because I'm tired of talking about it.
We're talking about AT&T.
Yeah.
And that's what I have today. So I think we'll be gravitating into the the 1-year window, and I'll be back on a regular basis to make sure, and I'll be in touch with Stacy, if there's anything we need to do, we'll do it, and feel free to.
Is there a
and
time frame on the rebates?
Good question, that's the 2015 rebate. Now, they would prefer that we have everything in by December 31st of this year. And then they give us a time period to install. Generally, it's 90 days. You tell me what your window is, and I'll tell you, if you're in jeopardy of losing money, I'll let you know that. If that money is enough to make your decision to go quicker, I'll tell you. So, but if you're looking at forecasting for 2015, then we'll see, the rebates will be there, I just don't know if they'll be at that same level. We'll know.
I think we'd be hard pressed with trying to get something in this year.
We put our budget together in December,
Yeah, okay.
and then we would know, I mean, if that's realistic, and then that's approved in December at some point.
Well, maybe at that point I can come back and we can see what you look like, and we'll adjust it from there, because typically they're annuals. The difficult part with AEP, First Energy, all those people, is that they allot until they run out of money, so do you want to be early in, or sometimes if they're having a fire sale, but they don't have enough, you want to be late in, you're late in here, but it would be early in for 2016, if I reach
I just don't see there's any way we can get it in this year, because it's a non-budgeted item.
That's fine, I'll bring it to you because it's something we need to do, and you want to make sure it's out there. That's part of the 900,000, by the way, so you know where you're at. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, I appreciate your help and your time.
Okay.
Stacy, that reminds me, where do we stand now with this phone bill? Did we
With
get,
AT&T,
yeah, are we still getting overcharged to,
Yes.
it was 20,000 a month?
yep. Yep. Until we sign the contract, they're not gonna adjust the rate. I've asked,
Do we have a commitment once we sign a contract that they'll, because this is now 3 or 4 months
well, this is probably fifth month
At-
now. Yeah.
at 20,000 a month and we're paying extra?
It went from 4,000 to 16. Average.
11,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have said, and if we go to the 1 year, because you had asked me to get a 1-year quote for a contract, they'll do it, but it's at a higher rate. And then we will only get the refund at the say 4,000 will go to 8,000, so we'll only be credited back at the new contract amount if you guys want to go with a 1 year or 3 year. I've asked Steve Mick and some of his higher up bosses to actually come in because we're getting nowhere. They're not fixing anything. We have multiple issues that they're still not addressing. So I've asked them to come in. That way they can discuss this with the board because,
Do you still have the number for the Public Utilities Commission?
yes, yep, I
Okay.
talked to him
I
last
would
week.
certainly lean on them, because they can put the hammer on AT&T. This just doesn't seem right to me.
Yep,
And if we can't get anywhere with AT&T, let's go over their head, the regulatory agency that handles them. I mean, don't hesitate to pull that trigger.
yep, yep.
You've talked to them last week.
Yeah, Dan, I talked to Dan from PUCO last week.
And is he giving you,
Yeah, he's talked to him like 3 days in a row, and I'm getting more answers and more clarification on some of the bills, but we've just gotta, it's, oh, this isn't the person that needs to fix this, this is the person that needs to fix this, oh, you need to cancel that line, well, you gotta call this number instead of this number, and just somebody fix it.
And you hate to sign a contract with somebody that's not giving you
Yeah.
any service.
And now
What I
that-
outlined in my communications to him is that, we're being held
Hostage.
hostage at this, and we can't move it forward, but we don't have answers. So why would we sign a new contract?
Yeah, that's why I've asked him to come off, because,
seems to me that it's kind of priority number one to get that. I mean, that 10, 12,000 a month and getting overbilled is starting to get up to 6 months at 60 grand. That's,
Yeah.
you're talking some change there now.
yeah. And they've put it in, at least in an email form, that they'll, when we sign that
So
contract.
you have something in writing that says, okay, then,
We will eventually probably sign a contract and get
Yeah.
it
To get
back,
that.
but it's
I
just.
mean, really, there's no what other option is there?
Right.
We looked at the other people with Time Warner or whatever, and that just didn't,
Yeah,
they didn't have the capability, so what other option is there?
right.
So,
But this is the time to iron out our problems.
yeah,
probably before we sign the
Yeah.
contract, then we're locked in, they could care less.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't care too much right now.
Keep pulling that PUCO one. I mean, that,
And they keep wanting to switch, customer service reps on me, you know. Now they want to take Steve off of it and put another guy in. I'm like, just leave him, whether he's doing anything for us or not. At least it's the same person.
Yeah.
I want to talk to the same person. You can get as many people as you want involved, but it's hard to re-explain the same situation over and over again to different people. But I've talked to 6 or 7 different AT&T people that say they're going to help, and I said, well, we're not getting anywhere, so you need to come and discuss this with my board because they want answers yesterday. So,
Okay. Anything else? Was good of you, Lauren?
I had a couple
Oh,
things.
yeah, you had your schedule.
Just one schedule thing, I just want to let you know the issue one committee's meeting tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So we will rank the local projects and send them on to the district for competition there.
Okay.
Then
Did
we
they
have-
do the second part of that meeting yet this year?
Yes,
Okay.
November.
I think so.
Okay.
And then I had one idea I just wanted to throw out to the
Yeah.
board for their consideration. As you know, Rover Pipeline is gonna build a big pipeline through the county at some future date, probably in 16. This isn't the 12-inch that Sunoco's doing, this is a 42-inch, you know, big line. A law firm gave a presentation at St. Joe's some time back about wanting to represent individuals. I attended that. And then I did meet with one of those attorneys later to represent me on a private property issue, because it does go through some of our farmland. He knew I was a commissioner, and we talked for a while about the whole thing. He suggested that the county ask for something from the pipeline. His suggestion was a new firehouse. He said the pipeline's gonna be looking for some PR, they've got some money to spend, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how much he knows of all that. As I thought about it, you know, a new firehouse doesn't really fit, we don't own any firehouses. But I thought, well, why don't we ask for a couple ambulances? So my thought, my suggestion, I guess, to the board is that we draft up a letter, a nice flowery letter explaining our EMS system, explaining how we're struggling and all, and that if there was a pipeline disaster, how it would be overtaxed, and asking them to donate a couple ambulances. I'm not saying we threaten anything, I'm not saying we hire a lawyer, I'm just saying a nice letter that between Nikki and Ken, they could put together. The worst they can do is say, go fly a kite, you're not getting anything. The best that could happen is they give us a couple ambulances. I ran it by Derek, and Derek says you can ask for anything. I ran it by Mark, because they do have to get permission to go across every one of our county roads, so there's at least something we're doing for them. He didn't have a problem as long as he didn't tie it in for road use. And I asked Ken, he seemed kind of excited about the idea. So
Saves money.
I bring it to the board for consideration.
I'd
Good
certainly
idea.
be supportive of that.
Very good
Certainly
idea.
be, I think that's a great suggestion, Jeff.
Yeah.
Let's try it, because what it can do, it can save the general fund instead of us putting county money towards it, that can keep you updated there, and you don't have to spend it out of our pocket.
One of those ambulances can go over the Attica Way, which is kind of the heart of where it's going through.
Which would be good, because right now their truck has been having some maintenance issues. It's getting older as we tend to use our trucks for 20 years because we don't wear them out, they just get old. And, which I guess is a good problem, but they do get old. So if we could get a couple of, the influx of that sort of revenue into our system would really be beneficial, because as we talked about phones and we talked about energy and we talked about a lot of things, all those costs also affect the operation at our level. Phones are one very, very frustrating thing right now. With new technology that's coming out, any influx of any help we can get, we're willing to take greedily. So I think that's a great idea.
Well, if it's okay with you guys, let's put
Great
together a
idea.
letter and we'll
Absolutely,
just sign it and.
I already wrote
Where
up
at?
a little bit of a draft. It's
That's all right.
sort of basic, but it gives us something to flow with. I kind of thought, I don't know. it's for you guys to peruse.
I'd like to see the draft before you send it off to see if we can.
Oh, it's
if we can
pure draft right now.
Yeah, I
It's
think-
here.
Introduce a couple things, but just to make sure I see them.
I think it would be a letter that we sign.
Yes, yes,
So,
yeah.
maybe include a letter from you, but it would all be under our
Mhm.
letterhead.
Thank you.
We'll work on that then.
Great idea, Jeff.
Thank you. I just repeated it with somebody else's idea.
I thought of a good thing that, great correlation with what's happening across the whole county, and that's something that also helps everybody, so. All right. Any other business for the good of the order? If not, citizens' comments, or Ken, did you have anything else, anything you wanted to share with us?
Not really. I'm
Okay.
just here to support that great idea.
Okay.
I
Citizens'
wanted
comments?
to, but I wanted to just update everyone that we have the final draft for the courthouse square usage.
Oh,
So
okay.
that committee is really wrapped it up. The final draft was sent out yesterday, and based on the comments of the committee and so forth, I think we can put this to bed. One thing I did want to mention is there is a push that's going on behind the scenes here for to establish an ice skating rink. And I happen to be on that committee at Winter Wonderland, it's called, or I'm not sure the name that they use, and that would abide by the rules that we've set out for usage of the courthouse. They gotta have their own security, fencing around it, they've gotta have, can only be Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday, so it's not used during courthouse hours, and it would be, they want to set it up in December and in January, and all the things of what they're looking for would fit into what the new guidelines set forth there. But I just wanted to mention to you guys, because they're at a point, they're not ready to, as I suggested to them, they can't come for approval yet, because you don't have we have not adopted the new set of rules. But they're at a point they've got donations that are able to come up with enough money to be able to purchase this ice skating rink. And so they kind of need a blessing from us if they can go ahead and order it. And what I'm telling you guys is that it fits within all the guidelines that what we've established there. And they gotta have insurance, and they've gotta be security, there's gotta be fencing around it, and cannot be during, courts hours. I just wonder if there's a personal objection from the group here, that I need to know that, because then I gotta put the brakes on these guys. If not, they're at a point, if they wanna do this in December and January, they gotta make a purchase pretty soon here. And they can't come for final approval yet until we see if there's any comments on the draft that we've set up.
I guess detailed questions asked, like what does it do to the area, once it's here and gone, like what if we had a mild, we can hope, winter, obviously then they can't have ice skating, but if they got that prep work done, outside of
Apparently
the
the-
fenced in area, where do however they deal with their selling of is it all free, how are they doing all of, I don't know.
That's
Not that I-
their business, how
Yeah, it
they're
is their
doing it.
business, I just didn't know if they're gonna end up needing part of the sidewalk, or if they,
It would, even if when we build a justice center, if the justice center is built at the courthouse square, there's still sufficient room for this thing to exist to be there. I mean, I don't quite remember how big it is, but it would easily fit on the front part of the lawn there, of the lawn there. And there's a lot of issues that they have to resolve, but there's a committee that's been established for almost a year. And then when all of a sudden, when we took a stay on any use of the courthouse, I just said, stop, you can't do anything. Well, then now, after the committee that I'm chairing has put this thing together, of the rules and regulations and usages of the courthouse, and I look at what they're trying to do, it would kind of fit within that.
and even if they have to carry their insurance, is that for those, insurance for those using the facility versus, will we have to still do something insurance-wise because the ground is ours?
Well, we're already insured through Corsa, as far
Right.
as that goes.
But I mean, are they gonna say, we're insured, but you're not a recreational facility? I guess I don't, that's what I want.
There-
They have to carry their insurance for what they're doing, but are we still in, or does that,
Yeah, I mean, we've got a blanket coverage, so I'm sure it covers it. They're probably gonna, they're risk people. They don't want us to do anything that risks claims anyway, but they'll probably try to persuade us not to, but I think we'd be covered.
with that
I think
insurance?
we've had that conversation.
Okay.
When will we get the draft of the rules so we can?
Later this week.
Okay.
It was just sent out yesterday, and the committee is reviewing it. You know, we hammered it out last week, and so now we couldn't get together again for another couple of weeks, and I said, no, we need to move this thing forward. So what they did is they got the draft out to everybody, of what we already agreed upon. Now everyone's reviewing it, and that we're doing now, and so any day that, I would say later this week, they'll have that, and then I would propose that to the commissioners here, if we can adopt it then.
I'd like to approve it as soon as we could.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the whole purpose, is to set up guidelines, so we get a proper usage of the courthouse square, and then to get it done as quickly as possible, so that we're not interfering with various functions of people who want to do things out there.
As far as the ice skating, just, if that fits within the guidelines that we eventually adopt, I think we need to look at them and see that they meet what we were kind of looking for. I don't have a problem, if that's what the community wants. I mean, I'm not here to dictate what goes on out there. If the community wants to ice skate, that's,
This is no tax money, this is all private donation that they put together, and a lot of people are involved with it, and
I don't have little kids anymore, but I would bring them if I had little kids.
save your ice skates. They try to look at something and renting them, and I'm not sure quite how they're gonna work with that. Yeah.
But again, we'd have to approve the thing first.
Yes.
And it would have to fit within, you couldn't say you can't do it. And you can, just because you're ice skating and
Right.
you're singing and you're
Yeah.
praying.
Whatever it is, yeah. All right, so we'll have the stuff from the courthouse square committee soon, and then.
Yes, yeah, later this week, we will have that, but hopefully we can adopt it next week, and then the applications will come in, and you've got the new guidelines. As long as they follow the guidelines, and we still have the ultimate authority, the commissioners do, and that was one thing that the judges were very insistent on, is that the commissioners still have the ultimate authority there.
Okay. Citizens' comments. Tom?
Why do we need to use courthouse square for a public playground? The courthouse, to my knowledge, is not playground. We have parks, we have parking lots that this skating rink could be put in. I think, my opinion is, it's wrong. Thank you.
Any other comments?
It's just a gathering, this is my opinion, it's just a gathering place for the public, and some want to gather and have a musical or a, what else we had on there, festival, and I don't know.
Well, my
Public
opinion
property.
is a nice, beautiful lawn,
Yeah.
and we haven't had that for a long time, but that's my opinion of a courthouse square. It's a nice, beautiful lawn, and not used for any public facilities, parties. I don't see that. I think it's wrong.
The
That's a-
Heritage Fest and that kind of stuff,
I would like to see a nice little fence around there.
Okay.
Nice little iron fence around it, I think would make it look beautiful.
I certainly appreciate what you're saying, Tom. And when I suggested, why don't we go out to Hedges or the park or the parking lots or so forth, what they're trying to do is the chamber and Tiffin tomorrow, they want to bring people downtown. And so it's kind of the central place downtown. I hear exactly what you're saying there, but there just seems to be a tremendous push to try to generate activity downtown for local businesses and all of that. We're out to the park, you're kind of
I understand.
off the left side, and the businesses really don't reap the benefit from it. I mean, so it's,
We have a lot of buildings downtown that are empty. Remove them. This one over here, remove it. Nice empty lot. Thank you.
Anything else for the
I'm done.
good of the order? Anyone else? All right, take a motion to adjourn.
I move.
seconded.
Moved in second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned 10:54. Thank you.